The idea of closure is based on the dialogue metaphor that was discussed earlier. In many cases, especially for organizational procedures, a use case requires several steps to complete. Sometimes this requires multiple screens, sometimes it can be done with a single screen. In either event, the user interface should have a clearly defined beginning and ending. So we have to provide closure for dialogues, to protect users' work, and to provide undo to reverse actions. So to provide closure on dialogues, closure is related to the concept of visibility and feedback discussed earlier. Feedback provided on the HIOs is one technique used to provide closure. However, feedback on an individual HIO does not necessarily imply closure. For example, a save button may change colors and make clicking sound when it is clicked, or a button for a yes to permanently delete this file. So, however, to ensure closure, it is helpful to have a message pop up saying that the work was saved or the action was completed. The same principle applies to a cancel or no button. The cancel button should provide visual and audio feedback, but refreshing the data fields on the cancel actions provide a more declarative closure. When a use case requires several steps, it is important that the user know that all the steps are completed. One technique to implement this process is to have a continue button and a finish button that indicate the end of the process. Sometimes a progress bar is also included and a final message to indicate that the dialogue has successfully finished. Refreshing the final screen to return to a beginning point of the next dialogue also indicates closure. Protect users' work. So it would appear that the principle to protect a user's work is absolute. However, it implies to a broader set of circumstances than many developers consider. It is common with current applications to always ask the user if she wants to save her work before closing the application. Many applications will also do automatic saving of a document every few minutes. Another common feature is to inform the user when she tries to save a newer version of a file on top of an older one. So these are effective techniques. However, how many of us have filled out an online form and had to start over again because of either an error or the need to change an input value on the original form? For example, when purchasing tickets or airline reservations, if you only want to change a date or time, often the application will require you to complete the entire form for every change. That approach does not conform to the principle of saving the user's work. As much as possible, the user interface should capture and remember the data entered by the user. And then we have to provide undo to reverse actions. Users always make mistakes and often need to undo a recent step. Both the application and the user interface must support this reverse function. Users need to feel that they can explore options and take actions that can be cancelled and reversed without difficulty. This is one way that users learn about the system, that is, by experimenting. It is also a way to prevent errors. As users recognize they have made a mistake, they cancel the action. In addition, designers should be sure to include cancel buttons on all dialog boxes and allow users to go back a step at a time. Finally, when the user deletes something substantial, a file, a record, or a transaction, The system should ask the user to confirm the action and, where possible, delay implementing the action.